Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Chelsea 2, West Ham United 1. An interesting game tonight, to say the least. Results versus performances are always a big source of debate amongst football fans, and that will certainly be discussed tonight in relation to Chelsea's win, but an important one nevertheless, with Bournemouth, with Newcastle, with Manchester City in that top four race, all slipping up. And with Nottingham Forest, Arsenal picking up 3 points. Very, very important indeed that Chelsea got the victory tonight. As much as performance is a key, as much as, and we'll get into why they're key later. Yes, I know 1.6 billion has been spent. They're in the third season of their club rebuild. But in the context of tonight, getting over that line was key, going 1-0 down. There were some really good and big performances from some individuals. I thought Enzo Fernandez was very good for Chelsea tonight. Neto's appearance from the bench, excellent from him. And some big moments. That block from Tosin in the 94th, 95th minute, absolutely game-saving for Chelsea. Maresca as well deserves a bit of praise tonight, I feel. Those early substitutions in the second half, something that he has been very much criticized for, maligned for by his own fans in recent weeks, and he made a much better decision to get those changes done, because to be fair, the first 55, 60 minutes, Chelsea were flat. They lacked ideas. It was very sterile, very prescriptive, no real risks being taken, overly regimented in many, many ways. But look, I want your thoughts, want your feelings, want your opinions and comments below. Also going to keep you up to date with the latest transfer stories, as there is 1 hour to the window shuts. I doubt very much is going to happen. It doesn't appear like too much is going to happen. Maybe a few exits from a few different football clubs. But I know Dazarsi is on his way to Aston Villa, interestingly. But yes, that's the last update I saw. Malacia has arrived in Holland, or he's going PSV, is what I've seen. But there we go. Let's jump into some of your comments here that have come through. West Ham robbed. Now, yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no. So, the offside for the goal, it wasn't conclusive contact. You can't give it. I want to remain consistent. I've been saying for ages, you cannot have VAR breaking protocol. You cannot have VAR break protocol. So therefore, you cannot prove the contact. You can't give the offside. However, I think what is ridiculous is the foul on Bowen wasn't spotted. How the referee's assistant or linesman and the fourth official couldn't see a clear push, it's crazy. The goal doesn't happen if that free kick's given. Where I will defend VAR, and I very rarely do that in that circumstance, is that they briefed it. There was a delay. So there's two things they said, and I've maybe got to do research if they've lied, but I'm going to take them on their word, what they said. If you can give me new information, I might change my mind. They said the attacking phase was too far after, and because the referee didn't see anything, they couldn't intervene, which I find a little weird, because if the referee didn't see it, then it's a clear and obvious error. But yeah, look, it was a foul and it should have been given. I think Chelsea fans know that. Poor. The red card tackle from Enzo. Look, I've put a sarcastic tweet out saying the PGMOL said any studs that make contact above the ankle is a straight red card. Of course, sarcastically, we know they lied in surrounding Lewis Skelly. They lied. We all know they lied. That's why it was one of the quicker turnovers in the history of football. So it wasn't a red card. It was a rightful yellow. And look, I think Chelsea will feel a little bit fortuitous tonight with the performance, the lack of cutting edge, the lack of clinical edge. Fortuitous with both goals. The second is massive deflection. It's an own goal. It gives them the win. But, you know, a lot of Chelsea fans will probably look at this and say, well, there's been other games in the last 7 or 8 where we've battered teams for 50, 60 minutes, peppered the goal and not scored. And then tonight we get two, not controversial goals per se, but slightly fortuitous goals. And if you're a Chelsea fan, you take it. If you're a Chelsea fan, you celebrate, you take the 3 points and you go home. I know all level-headed, sane Chelsea fans that understand their club, will still be very concerned about that first 50, 60-minute performance. There's no doubt about it. But to say they were robbed, look, say West Ham were robbed, I'm very clear when it comes to when I say that. It's when VAR especially has missed an absolute, when VAR makes a massive mistake. Bruno Fernandes's red card, we all looked at it and went, oh, bloody hell, ain't a red. They'll overturn it. They haven't. Lewis Skelly's red card, they're going to overturn this. Wow, they didn't. A few years ago, Kukureya's hair gets pulled. We all see the replay and go, oh, that's a pen. Not given. That, for me, is when I look at it and go, wow. Scenario tonight, not so much. But I understand it should have been a foul on Bowen. I absolutely do. Take it every week. A win is a win. Yeah, look, Gabriel, I look at it this way. I get your point. If someone said you can win 38 games and you win them all this way, you would take it because then you know you're going to be league champions. Performances are really key. And I suppose the hope for Chelsea is that the win increases the confidence, which means there's going to be more victories, I suppose, would be the way you would have to look at it. Demi says rivals crying about robbery. Listen, bad refereeing decisions should be called out in either direction. All I've learned today is that João Felix, Dazasi, and Vega, as our backups, are gone. Jackson slightly injured, and the squad weaker now. Top four a fight. Do you know what, DR? I've been very, very critical about my club, Manchester United, today, and absolutely right. We've had a horrendous January, all being told. I actually am happy with a lot of the players that have gone. They're not good enough or not right. But we haven't brought enough bodies in. We are weaker now. We are weaker unless we're going to promote some youngsters and they're good enough, and then we'll see. But Chelsea, similarly, you've got rid of a number of bodies and brought nobody in. I think it's ridiculous. I really do think it's ridiculous, irrespective of tonight's win. So I agree with you 110%, especially for your ownership and how ambitious they are and how much money they've spent. You need that bagsman. You really, really do. I thought you'd have done something. I thought you would have done something. But the one good thing I'd say is at least now we can put the João Felix debate to bed. Everybody that said he's going to be a world-class player, oh my God, he's a baller, you're now wrong. Everyone that said that he's a good to average player is correct. Everyone who said he's complete dog shit, you're also wrong because he isn't. So I think that at least that's a good thing to come out of the João Felix exit. At least that 6 or 7 year long debate about João Felix is over. It's put to bed. He's just an average professional football player. That's it. You know, he isn't brilliant. He isn't amazing. He isn't crap. He's just average. And at least now we've come to a conclusion upon that debate, which is great. Thank you, Luke, for encouraging everybody to hit the like button. If you haven't done so yet, please get that done for us right now. People, very important that like buttons are hit. I also want to shout out our title sponsors tonight, Stocks FC. Now, until the end of February, everyone who signs up goes into the prize draw to win a PlayStation 5, and we will announce the winner just after the end of February, which we're very excited about. Plus, something new from them. Every single show where we're partnered with them, like tonight, everyone who signs up from the link in that show, so you can scan that QR code or click on the link below, one of you will win 2 tickets to watch a Premier League team of your choice. Stocks FC is an amazing platform. I love play. If you like fantasy football, it's just like that supercharged. It's absolutely amazing where you get the stock, and I love the colloquial term as well. It's when you can actually get stocks in a player that you, Premier League player, that you rate, that you believe is going to deliver, that you believe is going to score great fantasy football points. Not only can you see their value rise and other people might want to buy them stocks off you, but you also earn rewards each and every time they score, get assists, and get into teams of the week. So if your football knowledge is good, if you love having a little bit of fun and having a bit of a play when it comes to fantasy football, and if you give it the big one about having stocks in players, this is the platform for you and your friends. So scan the QR code now, go and get yourself signed up, and one of you tonight will be in a prize draw to win 2 tickets to a Premier League game of your choice. Nick Hunter here with a super chat says Neto man of the match, followed by Enzo. I agree. I think Neto came on and gave you real impetus and drive. He was very positive. Of course, he picks up the goal. I thought Enzo Fernandez, what I loved about Enzo Fernandez tonight, he was the only Chelsea player for the first 50 or 60 minutes who kind of broke rank and didn't just stay where he was meant to be. he was breaking some lines. He was playing some risky passes where if they're intercepted, yes, you might face a counter attack. But without them, you were never going to break West Ham down. And I felt that if Palmer would have tried that more, I felt because Cucurella was inverting, so he was in that position, that would have helped. That I think would have helped your team if 2 or 3 more players would have tried some passes to break a line to then create space to pull West Ham out. And I thought Enzo Fernandez did that very, very well indeed. The win is the most important thing. It doesn't matter how we get them. We need 3 points versus Brighton 2. Is there a link? Yeah, I'm going to share the link now for you guys. If you want to call in, you want to have your say, we'll put that into the live chat. And I'm also going to do, you're going to have to refresh your stream though, is I'm going to put it into the description of the show as well. So I'm going to send that there. So I've saved it. You guys just refresh the stream and then you'll see the link in the description as well. Absolutely. Same incident as the Bowen goal, stinky 60 minutes. No, the Bowen goal, that wasn't a foul. Colwell will probably, it won't get mentioned now. I weren't actually going to bring it up. I forgot about it, to be honest with you. I was more focused on other things, but that wasn't a foul on Colwell. The first one is, but he's lucky, Colwell, because he played the pass before the foul. So he's very fortunate that Kudos followed through on him. But the second one wasn't a foul for me. There's barely any contact whatsoever, personally. So I see a distinction between those two things. Red Indian here says, Terry, a question. When is the parade for the team winning the league, as it is after the season, or if they win it during the parades are always after the season ends, typically. And it depends whether you're in any other finals. So I don't actually know when the Champions League final is this year. I've not looked at the date, but normally it's a week or two after the Premier League ends these days. So say Liverpool were in the Champions League final and you win the Premier League, you would schedule your parade date for after that Champions League final in case you win it. But if you're not in the Champions League final when you win it, you'd normally have it. Normally that you have it on the Monday after the Sunday. So whatever day the Champions League final is, normally the Monday after, or the league ends, it's the Monday after, typically speaking. Rajab here says 2 days games as well. We have been had a bad transfer window, and Noni, Jackson, and Colwell need to be dropped and really need to finish our dinner in the final third. Yeah, look, I thought Madueke was poor tonight. Really, really poor. He had a good shot early on, but he just faded. It was a bit like the thing with your system is the system of Chelsea. Your fullbacks like to invert. Well, Cucurella does, which isolates Jadon Sancho on the left. Then what you have, is on the right-hand side, I don't feel like Reece James likes the bomb forward as much anymore. And I think it's because he's worried about sprinting up and down the touchline for 90 minutes with his hamstrings. So you end up leaving Noni Madueke and Jadon Sancho really isolated. They get doubled up on, and it's very, very difficult indeed. But I didn't think Noni was that good today. I agree. Jackson just looks, I know he got a little injury and a little knock, but he looked poor. And yeah, I like Colwell. I think Colwell's a good player. I like him, but I thought he was really, really poor tonight. Panicked on both occasions, and he could have cost you 2 goals in the game. He just got lucky that Kudos didn't follow through, if I'm being honest. I thought he was really, really fortuitous in that regard. 2 scuffed goals. Yeah. Bowen could play for a bigger club, Terry. Thoughts? Potentially. I have the same energy for Bowen, though, that I do for the conversations about Elanga, even though I think Bowen's better and more proven. How would he operate when teams sit back deep against him? Would he be as effective? It's a question mark. I'm not saying he can't do it. It's a question mark. He's also at an age where if he's going to go, he's got to go soon. But I think he's very, very happy at West Ham. This man scored a winning goal in the European Cup final. He's married. I think he's getting married. He's at least got children with a legend of the East End in Danny Dyer, who's a big West Ham fan. And family connections matter to a lot of people. So, yeah, I don't think it will happen personally. I think he's very, very happy indeed. Dazarcy to Tottenham is on. I thought there was a here we go to Villa. Oh. Interesting. I haven't seen any news on that. That'll be an interesting one. That'll be an interesting one indeed. If we don't sign a goalie and a striker in the summer, I'm done, is what Kieran says. Oh, I hear you, mate. And do you know what's interesting? Chelsea, United, Arsenal, all the same media brief this afternoon. Some will say it's PR, and I completely understand where they're coming from. I say it's the only time I say it's PR is if come the summer they haven't told you the truth. And what I mean by that is simply this. I think Chelsea have said that they're doing the groundwork now for a striker. So if you get to the end of the transfer window in the summer and you haven't signed a bagsman, you haven't signed a tip-top striker, then I would say the message now is PR. Man United's message is we didn't really want to spend too much in the January window. We've turned down a $5 million loan fee for Tell because we feel it's money we don't want to waste, and we like him, but we're not sure about him. That's why we only wanted a straight loan. And they're essentially saying we're saving all our money because we're going big in the summer. So let's see if they do. And I think Arsenal have said something similar when it comes to the strikers, etc. they want. So listen, sometimes the media briefs are true. And sometimes they go away and they come back and they do it in the summer. I remember when Arsenal sort of didn't do much in January and said, but you'll see a big signing in the summer. And they went and spent 100 million on Declan Rice. So it does happen. But I think, look, I don't know about you, Kieran, me as a United fan, I'm disappointed. As a rival looking at Chelsea and Arsenal, like, especially, I'm glad that didn't see you. If you guys would have done good business, I'd be even more annoyed. I'm kind of glad that you didn't, but I understand where the frustration comes from. John here says Neto changed the game. Yeah, absolutely. He was brilliant. He was really, really good indeed. Really, really good indeed. What does this say here? Terry is so bitter. I don't think I'm being bitter at all. I think I'm speaking the truth. I thought your performance today was poor for 50, 60 minutes. I thought both your goals had large elements of luck, but you've got to take those pieces of luck. I said you should celebrate them. I think every Chelsea fan who loves their club, every Chelsea fan who understands their club, wants better performances. I think I've praised a lot of your players tonight. I think I've criticized the ones who deserved it. I don't think there's any bitterness there at all. What's he say? Chelsea is actually getting annoying. Expand on that for me, please. I'd love to know what you mean by that. I'd love to know what you mean. Terry, when is Isak and Cunha going to Arsenal? You said all month the deals are done. Yeah, I get a lot of this. And now, Don, you're a member. I think you only become a member because someone gifted it to you, but I'm going to respect you as a member nevertheless. Of course, show me the clip where I said it was done, and I'll pay your mortgage for 12 months. Show me the clip. Show me a clip. Show me a snippet where I say it, not me reacting to a bit of news, you know? And half the time, I'm like, I don't think I said a lot of those deals aren't going to happen anyway, but show me. I bet you can't find one, but I like the banter. It's a bit of fun. Thanks, Dyke. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. West Ham goal was luck too. No, you're right. I didn't talk about their goal, though, did I? I didn't talk about their goal. I didn't say, wow, their goal was brilliant. I spoke about your goals. But you are right. Of course, that was lucky. And if West Ham would have hung on and won 1-0, my title would have been smash and grab, because that's exactly the type of performance that West Ham put in. But you came back, and I spoke about, I typically focus more on the top six side in the conversation. That's how it kind of works. That's when it kind of works. What's wrong with you these days, my man? I don't know what that means. Explain that. You've got to give me more details than that, my friend. You've got to give me more details than that. It's always funny to hear fans try and fire you up. No, it's true. It's true. It's true. I get a lot of it on Twitter as well. Every day. When's this happening? When's that happening? Well, I've got this weird guy at the minute. Keeps DMing me about things people tweet about me. And it's like he's trying to, when someone's trying to be nice, I don't know what his name is. Can't remember now. John or something. It's like, I know you're trying to be nice to me, bruv, but like, it ain't that deep. It's just a bit of trolling. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't take it that seriously. It's not that important. Personal terms agreed. Who with? Who's agreed personal terms? Let me know. Terry, most competitive EPL so far. In terms of the sort of middle pack going for a European spot, yes. Title race, you'd say no. I still think that 2003 to about 2012, from a title race perspective, was the best we ever saw. We had 4 teams every season that could win Champions Leagues, and we actually had a good middle pack as well then. You know, it changed who the teams were, but we had a really good middle pack in that period as well, to be fair. Very, very good indeed. Gav here says, just need some of these scrappy wins, get some back-to-back wins, and we'll pick up. Yeah, I agree. If you can take confidence from these wins and then apply that to the team, absolutely, and make those performances better, because consistency of wins comes from performances, and they're not there right now. But of course, you take the win over losing. Like, absolutely. It's one of some of those weird things we say in football, isn't it? We sort of do this. We kind of do this thing of, I take the win though. Yeah, I mean, none of us. We all say it. I say it. But I wouldn't take a loss. Yeah, you always take a win if you weren't very good. Absolutely. 55 million euro option to buy for Tel. Yeah, interesting indeed. I'd love to know what we were willing to pay. What I read initially was Man United were willing to pay 40 million with an option to buy, but that might be in pounds. That's very similar. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That. Oh yeah, it says here, David Orton, Spurs have reached a total agreement with Bayern to sign Mateus with an initial loan with an option to buy at 55 million. I think that's good. Because it's an option to buy, I think that's really good. If he's great, I worried for Tottenham if it was just a straight loan and he did well, because then somebody else could swoop in and take him. But if they've got the option to buy, there's probably a first refusal on that, where if they want him, they can get him for that price, and no matter what anybody else bids. So yeah, look, a good bit of business. I think he's a really talented young player. Whether he delivers in the Premier League or not, only time will tell. But I've watched him a number of times for Bayern. I like how he plays. He can play in the pockets, sort of on the in a sort of 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 on the left and the right. He can play that. He can go out wide. Could also play in a 9 position as well. And I'm going to be intrigued to watch his development in the Premier League. But yeah, really, really good bit of business that is. Oh, we're not making it to the summer, Terry. There we go. Maradon here says, Terry, are you not worried about Ineos's track record with Nice? But a minute ago, you mentioned personal terms agreed. You not respond? I'll respond to this when you respond to the last one, please. I want to keep this in order. Let me know what you meant by that, my friend. Terry, what do you think about Forest? Do you think they can hold this form? They can. Look, injuries will play an important part. When Leicester won the league, from about January until they won it, it was, can they maintain it? And they kept all their key players fit predominantly, and they went on to do it. And if Gibbs White and Woods and Elanga, for example, their defense continue to score and continue to be defensively sound, yeah, they can make it, because they are really good. They're not on a run of form at the moment, Forest. They're a very good side. They've got a great balance of strength, stamina, power, and then they've got a real good amount of clinical edge, and they have so much space to play in on the counter that really helps them. So yeah, I think they can do it. Again, touching wood, it doesn't happen for them. I'd love to see Nottingham Forest in the Champions League. It would be a brilliant achievement. I hope it happens. Injuries pending. I think they do it. I think they do it personally. Let's have a little look here. Tell is mid. When I keep reading Tell, I think people are talking to me. Tell mid, but clears the way, what they have Solanke and Richarlison. Well, I think Richarlison's gone. Miss says Tell has a weak mentality. He's scared of competition. Yeah, I mean, look, you could say that, but he's gone to Chelsea. He's gone to Spurs, where you've got Son, where you've got Johnson, you've got Solanke, you have Richarlison. There's Mickey Moore coming through. So it's not as though there's no competition at Tottenham. Now, some of you are saying he's mid. So if he's mid, then there is. I mean, if he's brilliant, then maybe not so much. I have been quietly hoping that there's like a moment where there's like breaking news, United swoop in. That's not going to happen, is it? We move. Maresca learnt today, subbed Palmer for Chalobah. Yeah, listen, and that extra body at the back, especially with those last couple of counter attacks, was key. Most important thing Maresca did today with those early substitutions. Very, very good indeed. Time for the panel now. We've got Mo, we've got DR, we've got Nick coming on to have their say. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Hope you're all well. Mo, what did you make of Chelsea tonight?
They got away with it. Maresca made changes, but they got away with it. Again, they're poor defensively. Again, Chelsea. I was watching the game a bit, and I'm like, Chelsea got away with it. Yes, they made the mistake, and it was 1-0 down, but they got away with it. They're not as solid as how the season started. Yes, that as Kevin is saying, a win is a win, and they needed that win. It looks like they needed it, but they got away with it. There is no debate here, and no Chelsea fan can convince me this is the same Chelsea that we've seen in the beginning of the season. And I have to say one thing in the beginning, Terry. I think it all goes down to one player only. One player only. It's Nicholas Jackson not absolutely being as clinical as he was and not being in the right places. He doesn't have the first touch. I genuinely think that Chelsea didn't play the best game today. Yes, they dominated West Ham. That is expected. You play at Stamford Bridge. Oh, but we dominated West Ham. Yes, you're expected to dominate West Ham. That was always the plan. That was always the plan, to dominate West Ham. West Ham were there to defend and try to play on the counter and capitalize on your mistakes, and they did, to be honest. I look at Chelsea and I think the wingers are working hard. The wingers are working hard, but the plan from Maresca is not helping. And I want Chelsea fans to challenge me on this. Madueke is not getting enough help. Sancho's not getting enough help. I saw today many times, right, where Sancho had to dribble two guys to create something. Madueke the same as what happened at Man City. Again, we're saying it over and over again. Enzo Maresca is not putting the players in the right places to perform. When you have your winger every time need to dribble a couple of players, it is not the optimal situation. You need your winger isolated, like Salah does, like Saka does, like Savinho does. And that is, the managers do this always, right? You need Madueke to dribble one-on-one. And now, for the people in the chat, and I'm going to challenge everyone in the Football Terrace chat, big up everyone, make sure to like the video first. You guys keep saying Madueke is trash. When did you see Madueke one-on-one with 10, 15 yards to run a defender? How many times in the game you saw Madueke, who likes to go to the touchline, isolated with the defender? You see Amad Diallo, even Amorim isolate Amad Diallo to work. Amorim isolate Garnacho, but Garnacho is not good. Chelsea's players are not in the right places to create chances. Yes, Neto did well, but Neto did well. It's adrenaline. Neto goes on his left. He cuts inside. He's a different player. And it's on Enzo Maresca. If you're gonna keep playing Madueke, you need to isolate him. Sub him out. Play Neto from the beginning. Why are you playing Sancho, by the way, if you're asking Sancho to dribble 2-3 players? Many times I see Sancho trying to dribble the two players, and they are solid from West Ham. People like to trash it on Madueke and not on the others. I know why. We all know why. Because Madueke has bad attitude from them. He doesn't defend well. And that is what Chelsea fans don't see. Sancho doesn't have an output lately. When was the last time that Sancho had an output? Dribble, and no output. When is the last time? It's the same. At least Madueke scored in the last game. Terry, I know you're researching. When is the last time Sancho had an output?
Yeah, I wanted to go check that now.
Yes, please.
The last time he got an assist versus Crystal Palace on the 4th of January, but he's got one assist and no goals in his last 10 games.
10 games, one assist. That's not good enough for Chelsea wingers, is it? It's not good enough. If any winger in the Premier League is playing as a winger and having one assist in the last 10 games, that's not good enough. That's not good enough for you. And that is on the manager. By the way, Sancho is not a bad player. You just need to put him in the right place to perform. You not having Kukurea doing overlapping a lot. You not having Malagusto or Reece James overlapping is not helping your wingers. It's Enzo Maresca today again. I like Enzo Maresca. He started the season very well, but he's so stubborn now. Teams are figuring out how you play football. You need to change it. You're stubborn a little bit. You need to change it. Cole Palmer was asleep for 70 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Even the commentators were saying that because you're not getting him in the right places. It's on the manager. I'm going to tell you this, guys, and this is the last thing I'm going to end on. if the player is getting in the right places and not performing, like what Terry used to say about Savinho, right? Terry used to say that about Savinho. He said, Savinho has moments where he can perform in the beginning of the season, but he's not getting any output. I don't see a lot of Chelsea players in the right places to perform. So it's not on them. It is not on them. It's on the manager to create the right opportunities for these guys to perform. That is what, oh my God. Here you go. Can you show the super chat, please, Terry? I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Someone is triggered right away. Mo's doing the same defending job he did for Gallagher. Chelsea's best player. Chelsea, he was your best player at some point. Rotten on the bench at Atletico, so please take most tactical takes with a pinch of salt when he talks about Noni as well. When is the last time, my man C, you saw Madueke isolated the defender? You tell me. If you played football at any level, you know that managers in the dressing room, if you have wingers that have trickery and quick, they say, we need to isolate this guy. I want this guy isolated the defender to perform. You just don't like Madueke for whatever reason you have. Why haven't you mentioned Sancho? Why? I know why. I know why, see? Because you want to score one against Man United fans. On your head top, he succeeded. Your club is trash. He succeeded with us. That is what happens in football. Same, by the way, same as Arsenal fans wanted to score one on Chelsea. Oh, Kai Havertz worked. Good money spent on Kai Havertz. We scored one on you. Bro, this Madueke hate has to stop. Have the same energy for all the players, and I will hear you. I will hear you. That is my end. That is my end for this.
Yeah, look, I would say with Sancho, from an output perspective, started the season, first 3 games, 3 assists, and it's one assist since the 28th of September for him. He got 2 goals, 2 games running against Southampton, and then against Tottenham in the 3-2 win, but no goals either side of that. So from an output point of view, and for me at Man United, that was the one thing he lacked more than it was the lack of output that bothered me more than anything else. There was good moments, good touches, good passes, held the ball up well, but in terms of when we signed Sancho, I wanted that Dortmund output. I wanted those Dortmund assists, those Dortmund amount of goals, because the guy was at a ratio of about 85-90%. And that part has been missing. I didn't realize, because I'm not a Chelsea fan, I weren't looking. I didn't realize it was one piece of output in his last 10 games. That's crazy to put that. Siege responded here. Terry, your 13th full season, Sancho sweet. Yeah, I mean, where my club is irrelevant to this conversation. If Noni's good enough, he'll do the job. Same as Sancho. If he can't, then he'll get sold. I think I don't have sentimental value on players who haven't won me anything. Nice try, Mo.
Okay, at least you called Sancho out. So maybe you're more honest than a lot of Chelsea fans that told me, but Sancho dribbles. He gets nutmegs. Nutmeg 1, the opposition 0. It's not, football is not about nutmeg. At least you're honest, see. I have the same, by the way, for my club. If you look the best on the pitch and you don't give me any output, you're giving me nothing, because I'm not winning games because of you. I want to win games by having my winger score or assist, especially if Jackson is not scoring. You know, people can get away with it if my winger is assisting my striker and he's putting the ball in the back of the net, but your striker is not scoring. You have Kukurea helping you score goals. Your wingers need to perform, and it's on your manager. And I'm sorry, you say Madueke and Sancho are not good, right? What about your manager using them to the best attributes they have? The club hired this guy to get the best out of these players. And if you keep saying Madueke is trash, how much you think you're going to get for him? You're going to lose money on him then. It's on the manager. I'm going to say this again so people maybe don't understand it, right? The first time. It's on the manager to play to the best of his players. Same energy we have for Amorim, same energy we have for Ange Postecoglou. Play to the best ability of your players, not the other way around. Do not ask someone who run marathons to beat Usain Bolt in a 100-meter sprint. That is wrong. That is the whole point. I don't know. Chelsea fans are, oh my God, why do you say Madueke is good or Sancho? I'm not saying they're good. I'm not saying they're world-class players. I never sat here and said he's a world-class, but he's not trash. Madueke is not trash.
I hear that.
Other teams.
One thing I'd say on that, though, is we saw 7 attacking players come on the field, including the 3 subs. Neto was the only one who actually really did anything. So it's not just Sancho, it's not just Madueke, it's all of them. Jackson didn't do well tonight. He hasn't really performed in the last 7 games. He's not really doing enough. Earlier on in the season, you saw him breaking the lines. His first touch was there. We haven't seen any of that. His finishing's gone down the drain a little bit. And Kunku's coming off the bench, isn't really doing anything, slowing the game down. Mark Gee, things with him, he's played a lot of Conference League games. And today, going up against a very physical West Ham side and a very compact West Ham side, I'm not surprised he was quite quiet in the game. So it's only really Neto who actually came on and did anything. So I think the thing is with Madueke, he deserves the criticism he's getting. But at the same time, it's our whole front line. You can see that in that first half, we barely did anything. We were quick passengers in that game. I think our midfield did all right. I think our midfield played quite well. As I said, Enzo was probably our second best player behind Neto. But it's just not clicking at the moment. And yeah, we were a bit lucky today, but at the end of the day, we need these results. So if we shit house our way to the next 4 or 5 games, I'll take it. At the end of the day, we just got to get the confidence back. We just got to get the wins back in. I mean, out of our next 4 games, I want a minimum 10 points. That's what I'd say. Out of the next 10 out of 12, we've got Brighton away, Villa away, Southampton at home, Leicester at home. So I think we really need to start putting the points together now. So, but
Do you think, how many games you said?
what are the points?
How many games you said?
Out of the next 4 games, I think we need 10 points. 10 out of
Do you
12.
think you're going to get 10 points? Looking at today. Today's game is an indication.
No,
You did that
but
one
going
against
off of
them.
recent form, no, I don't think that. But that's where we need to be. If we want to be in this top 4 race, that's where we need to get to. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we've got Southampton, Leicester. We should be putting them teams away. But recently, we haven't been beating the teams we should be beating. So I can't sit here and say I'm confident about that. But that's what we need to do. And that's why I say it doesn't matter right now how we get the wins. We just need to get them.
Yeah, points are important at the minute. I do agree, simply because, well, they see what he's like. But if this new midfielder helps to shore up the central area of Man City, I wouldn't be if he's a good signing. I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a run. If he isn't, and their midfield don't improve, I wouldn't worry too much about City. But there's always that worry, considering they've gone and dropped 210 million on an attacker, 2 defenders, and a central midfielder. So yeah, I do agree that the points are important.
We need Champions League. We need Champions League no matter what. Doesn't matter if we finish 5th, 4th, 3rd, wherever we finish, we just need Champions League.
We weren't lucky today. We 100% deserved that win. We 100% deserved that win. They only scored on a Colwell mistake. We had 3 open chances in the first half that we should have buried. We should have been 3-1 up. Maresca made the changes. All the subs worked. And Gui did have a big impact on that game. The more centralized 9 meant that the centre-backs more occupied when we're crossing it in. So to say we were lucky, I have no idea what you guys are talking about whatsoever. We totally 100% deserve that win. There's no doubt about it in my mind.
We controlled the game quite well. And one thing I'd say about West Ham was to be fair, they sat back a lot more than 4, especially for Graham Potter's side. We haven't really seen that under Brighton or kind of Chelsea, that kind of...
Kudus was their only... Kudus we didn't handle right all game. Kudus, that's the one thing where I think we kept showing him onto his left foot, and it nearly cost us at the end. But credit to Maresca, he did what he done in the first part, most of the first half of this season, and made the changes. You want to criticize Madueke or Sancho? I really couldn't care less because we got the win. The subs worked. It's just ironic now that we didn't buy a striker, Terry. That maybe both our strikers are now injured. So
yeah, you won because Aaron Wan-Bissaka tackled the ball in the back of the net.
Doesn't matter. It's a goal to goal. What does it matter?
So, but you say we deserve the win 100%. So you're making it as there's no conversation.
We had the better chances. We had the better chances.
You making it as it was a 100% a win, a convincing win by Chelsea. If you put it this way, really, you really think today was a convincing win?
We
should have been 2-0 up. Should have been 2-0 up for the Colwell mistake.
And in the same way,
I don't know what you're. No, seriously, I don't know what you're watching. Seriously, I respect you, but I don't. You were totally wrong on this one. Totally wrong.
For me personally, it's like I think in the first half you had the Sancho chances as well.
They had a blocked shot.
It could have been 2-2 if Tosin didn't have a last-ditch tackle in the last minute of that injury time.
It could have been 4-1. Ifs, buts, and maybes. Could have been 4-1. What are we doing here? We had the better chances.
Right, then.
Look at it.
Oh, Andrew, I like you, Andrew. I'll call you a friend.
I like you as well,
whatever makes you sleep well at night, bro. Whatever. I know that.
I don't know
whatever makes you sleep well at night.
Name me the other chances that West Ham had apart from that block shot.
They had opportunities, not chances. They had opportunities, not chances. They have the opportunities when Bono was running.
What I would say,
we had chances and opportunities.
What I would say though, you had 3 shots on target in the whole game, and 2 of them were shots from about 30 yards. The other one was the goal. You didn't have a single shot on goal from within 18 yards of their goal line. You had the ball in some good places. They had 4 shots on target from inside the box, as an example. Considering you're in a top 4 race, we're in a title race a few weeks ago, and they are a relegation team, I wouldn't say 100% you deserve to win. Would I say over 90 minutes you played the better football? Yes. The first 60 minutes stunk. The first 60 minutes you were so poor. You had some block shots, yes, but they're block shots. Their goal was fortuitous. It was a smash and grab. It was a smash and grab. It was a smash and grab moment. But there was a reason your fans in the ground were booing your team 67 minutes into the game.
That's because
you say we're wrong. No, they're booing because you weren't taking risks, you weren't creating clear-cut chances, and players weren't doing their job right. You then score a goal, and actually a well-worked goal. Shouldn't have been allowed. It should have been a foul given against Bowen, right? But you scored the goal, and then after that, you go and get another goal straight after. And then your fans were still booing your players because you weren't going for that third goal. You weren't taking that risk to try and score again. So I wouldn't be adverse to hearing you say you deserve to win. But the idea that 100% we deserve to win, like this was an amazing performance, I think that is an exaggeration, Andrew.
I didn't say amazing performance. I said we deserve to win. We had the better chances. On target, yeah, we didn't get a lot on target, but we had the better chances. They had that tossing shot. The 4 shots, I don't remember. Jorgensen's not coming out of here man of the match, is he? Like 4 shots on target. We're not saying.
So you're happy with the performance?
Clipped it over the bar.
Well, but just because their shots weren't good enough.
I'm not happy with the finishing.
Their shots game. I understand that, but they had 4 shots where they had a bit of space inside the box, and they were awful shots. I'm not going to lie to you, barring the goal. The problem is that that's still an opportunity. They just didn't take them very well. They got into positions that you didn't. And again, I still think that's fair to say you deserve to win. When I say about you talking about an amazing performance, that's when you said to Mo and agree with Mo that there's no debate. 100% we deserve to win. I consider a team that deserve to win, who have very good performances, have the better chances, score their goals cleanly. Then I think it's no debate. But I think there is a little bit of a debate here to say whether you were lucky or not. I think there was a slight bit of luck to you winning the game, because had that deflected shot not gone in, maybe you wouldn't have scored. Maybe you'd have drew 1-1.
What is your evidence that you were going to score if that shot wasn't in? Did you have plenty of shots?
I could point to the first half, for example. I agree that shots on target were good. The first half, for example, Sancho was in, he skied over the bar. Madueke was in, he didn't even get it on target.
That was a very difficult chance when he skied over the bar. That was on the right foot. You had to dribble a couple of guys, lean in, and it was just the right foot one.
No, but I'm just speaking about in terms of shot. I'm saying in terms of shots on target, because we were very long shots on target, and it's proof to how poor we were in that first half. That first half was absolutely awful. I wouldn't necessarily say we were deserving, but I don't think that it's necessarily unfair that we won the game. I think especially post subs, I think we did enough to create our own luck. I would
agree. I wouldn't say it's unfair that you won. No, I agree. I wouldn't say it's unfair. I don't think you did anything that was unfair to win the game. I wanted to ask, Roberto. Nice to meet you, by the way. First time I've met you. Nice to meet you. A lot of people in the chat are giving stick to the likes of Sancho and Madueke and Nico Jackson. You haven't bought anybody today, and we're doing a bit of a deadline day show as well. How frustrated are you as a Chelsea fan that you haven't gone out and improved your attacking line during the window?
I think it's very frustrating. I think if we want to talk about the wingers, Sancho and Madueke, I don't think that a lot of our wingers are being used to the best of their ability. I think if we're going to play with Neto and have him shooting crosses into the ball, then we need to have a striker that's able to be on the end of that. And these past 10 games, the only person that we've had that's able to be a threat on these type of crosses is Cucurella, who's 5'8" and dealing with center backs that have almost a foot over him. That's what it feels like. And then for the wingers, I think you have to kind of look at Maresca on that end. Like, if we're going to be with the way that West Ham was set up today, that first half was so awful because we were just passing between the defense, passing to the winger, and then just leaving the winger 2-on-1 to do nothing pretty much. They need an overlap. They need something. You need to change up the system to help them. Like, if they're not going to be able to get by their man, then you need to start playing through the middle. And in that second half, you add in a bit more energy. You start playing through the middle. Guess what happens? When you start playing through the middle, they're like, oh, we have to be wary of the fact that they might play through the middle, which gives a bit more space on the wing so that when Neto receives it, there is a second man, but if he's quick enough, he can get by the first and get by the second. And you saw that happen in that second half. So it's a bit on Maresca, but it is very, very frustrating.
Yeah, I agree with you about the system. I don't. I hate watching Reece James play now, and I mean that with respect. Doesn't bomb forward like he used to. Maybe he will later on down the line. When he got Soler skinned him, and I'm thinking Reece James would have cooked him for breakfast 2 years ago. And so I'm just saying the injuries look like they've taken their toll. And then Cucurella, the inverting. Now he's doing what he's told to do by the manager. But as you say, isolate Sancho, and Sancho needs someone around him to overlap or underlap, and he's out there by himself. So I do agree. I think the system played a part in the first half as well. But I also would like to see players take risks. Go on.
With the Gusto, I think that changed though, and he changed it with the Gusto sub, and he was more supportive of Neto in the second half when the changes were made. Like Mo was saying, Madueke can get isolated sometimes, and we saw it. But when Gusto came on, he didn't invert as much as Cucurella did on the other side, and you saw the support that way. I think there's times we are unfortunate, and I don't like saying this, we are seeing a rookie manager, aren't we? That's the problem.
No,
we're seeing a rookie manager make
I agree.
mistakes.
But you haven't done your research. You haven't done your research.
Where I would praise him today, though, is he made those subs really early. And I think if he'd have left it till maybe the 75th minute, the game could have been a little bit different. So I think he deserves a little bit of credit there. DR's with us. What are you saying, DR?
At the start of the season, I was so happy, and now I'm beginning to just feel very uncomfortable. I just think, especially after what's happened in the window, we must win more than we draw, otherwise we're in trouble. I don't believe in this team to like grind out wins like that every single time. I think for me, the biggest outcome out of all of this is what's going to happen to that left-hand side and then attacking midfield, because there's no Felix now. So does that mean Nkuku chops into that Palmer position, or does Guiu take over Nkuku's backup striker position for Jackson? And then what? Sancho now has that all to himself on the left. Now, I don't know what's going to happen over there, but we're just not clinical, and it's been killing us for the past 10 games. And that's why we're in the position where we're in.
You're fourth. Cheer up, my man. You just won a game, bro. What's going on?
No, it's just weak. It's like, this is weak.
No, you deserve to win 100%, bro.
No. If we're gonna win games like this, then it just shows that this team is very weak. It can't create as effectively against low blocks, which I'm looking at our fixtures. We play Brighton and we play Villa. We should smash Southampton and Leicester, but I am not that confident going into these next couple of games. I don't know why. If we're gonna play like that, that's really bad. That's just really bad all round.
I can understand the lack of confidence, but I think you need a few wins. Get a few wins under your belt. I'm still shocked. I watched Arsenal yesterday do what they did to City, and I still think, why didn't Chelsea run at them? Genuinely, you got so much pace compared to them. It's still when I think Arsenal scored their fourth goal, I was with my brother and I just went, why didn't Chelsea do this? It's the first thing I say, why did Chelsea do it? It's crazy.
Even though Terry, Chelsea have a better squad than Arsenal. We all know that. I thought that was a fact.
For me,
that was absolutely a fact.
Stop it.
This year, one thing I've noticed about my team this year is that when we've got games that we, as a fan base or the media or the world, like the country, expect to win, we've really sort of underperformed. So, mind you, Old Trafford, we've not won at Old Trafford in 11 years. Like, they had a chance. They had I think Ruud van Nistelrooy was the coach there.
Yeah.
And we couldn't win, we couldn't win there. And everyone has been winning there. Crystal Palace just won there last time. Beforehand, I think Forest or somebody got a result before.
Forest won there. Brighton. I mean,
like,
pretty much everyone.
You see the issue. Like we've got games where we should be winning, and everyone's eating off all other teams across the league. And one team that's always underperformed, even though we're fourth in the table, has been Chelsea.
Yeah,
like, we just had a really hot start.
I hear, mate. Listen, I hear that. Where I defend Chelsea is this is what happens as well when you have a young squad, and I think one of the things that's got into their heads is when the title talk, and one of the telltale signs for me was when Chelsea fans and Chelsea players all did this little thing. What do you mean title race? I've never looked at a league table before. What's a title race? That for me was the sort of the reverse psychology, but it means you're thinking about it, right? That's the thing with reverse psychology. If you know you're doing it, you're thinking about the thing in hand, which was the title race, and a young teams are susceptible to that. I've got a super chat here that's very true, and I do need to thank Chelsea tonight because thank you for keeping us 13th, because we could have dropped to 14th tonight if West Ham had won. So I want to thank you for that. Runin here says at least Nkunku looked like he wanted to play.
I don't even think so. I don't think so. I think
every time
I think Mark showed more.
No game, so I don't know.
I think Gui showed more. I think there were times where like I think at the end of the game on the counterattack, I'm like, why is he stopping and passing it back? Just move forward. There was so much space. He just stopped and passed it back. I think it was frustrating, personally.
D here says Mo, our striker, is letting the wingers and Palmer down.
Yeah, sometimes they put the ball to him and his first touch. What happened to his first touch? I just don't know.
I was saying that for the whole team. That first half, I'm like, where's everybody's first touch gone? Like
what
everybody
happened
was
to them, bro?
Just like really mad. Just really, I don't know. Maybe Nico Jackson and Rasmus Højlund have been like going to the same shrink or something, because it just. It's worse for Jackson, because the one thing I'd say about Jackson, the clinical edge wasn't there, but every other part of his game I quite liked when he arrived. But I'd say the last month, 6 weeks, he's been space
last
jam.
10 games.
The guy used to receive the ball and turn defenders and create. They're passing him simple passes and just bounces off him like he's Lukaku. And I'm like, what's going on with you, bro?
Gav here says Cuckoo and Sancho's partnership is great, but missed when Cuckoo inverts. Yeah, I agree, Gav. I agree with you with that. Maresca learned today. Sub Palmer. I've already done that for Shalaba. Thank you. Thomas here says, I'm a Chelsea fan and Mo is right. Maresca said he likes his wingers 1v1, and we haven't seen that since the start of the season. Too much inverting. Andrew is wrong. But one thing I'm confused about, if the fullback inverts, I suppose it doesn't leave the winger 1-on-1. It leaves him 2-on-1 because there's two players there, I suppose. Yes, I get what you mean. Sorry, my brain weren't working right then.
The problem with our wingers though is they don't really have any output. They can't dribble the ball when they cross it in, and that's one thing I like with Neto. And Neto's had some quiet games this season, and he's also kind of had the games where he's really stood out.
But it's on the manager that he's playing Madueke and Sancho, not starting Neto.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that.
You say that though. You say that that's Neto's first goal or assist in 11 games.
He hasn't started. You know when the last time Neto actually started?
Yeah, it's true.
It's been a while.
The guy doesn't even. So what message does that send to Neto? You're signed for £50 million. You're playing Sancho and Madueke over him. You're only using him in desperation, right? And what message does that tell the guy? How about his confidence? How about his improving with the team? How about the chemistry between him and Jackson and Palmer and the rest of them? It's on him.
He hasn't taken, when he's had sub appearances, he's not taken advantage of them.
I think this is his first really
he did have a run as well. He did have a run in the team, and then then it just coincided. So it's one of those.
The thing with Vanessa though, his crossing ability is very good. And that's just, we haven't got that with Madueke. So
yeah.
And that's the thing with Neto is when Madueke's be playing, he looks all good. He wants to take the players on, but he never actually gets that output. The crosses to the first man, or he said that he dribbles in nowhere. At least with Neto, he hasn't always had the best of games, but at least I'm more confident with him. But he's going to beat a man and actually deliver a good cross. And that's the thing with it with Madueke, where I think, and that's why I criticise Meresca for starting and rely, because it always seems when he makes subs as well, Madueke is always the last man on the field as well. He's never the first one who takes off, which I don't get. But I don't want to sit here and kind of slam Madueke because I think there's quite a lot of attackers that aren't performing. But I do definitely think Neto should be starting, even though he hasn't set the world on fire since joining.
But I think
This is where we can look at the window, though. This is where we can look at the window because I've said before, even when Neto was playing, it was frustrating because he was delivering these good crosses, but we don't have anybody in the box that's able to be on the end of them, anyways. And this was one of the frustrating things about Jackson these past 10 games is we've been playing a style where we're crossing the ball into the box more, but Jackson he couldn't find the cross in the church, bro. Like it's that bad. I'm telling you, like Cucurella can sniff out where a cross is going to be 10 times better than Jackson. He is never in a position back post in the box ever. Even in this very game, there was a time where I think Neto or Madueke crossed it into the box, and Jackson is ball watching offside in the box. Like, what do you say to that? And that's where you start looking at this window and where is the striker backup? If Mark Gui goes down, if Jackson would like. What do we do?
RSM, you're wrong. We're planning for a striker in the summer. Didn't you see all the tweets? We're planning for one in the summer.
So we. Man United, Chelsea, and Arsenal all released the same press brief this afternoon.
It's like word for word as well.
I know. Let's see who delivers one in the summer.
At least they could have put a comma misplaced somewhere to look different. You know what I mean?
I'm so disappointed that nothing is happening. Like in the last minute, I keep checking and refreshing the news.
I'll be honest with you, barring City,
the sassy to Villa. That's it.
The last two Januaries have been very, very poor indeed. And I know that Chelsea kind of spoiled us for a couple of years by going like crazy, but it's still been very, very quiet, which tells me there's a lot of it's hard to say this. I don't forget Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea because viewers will just get funny. It tells me a lot of teams are sailing close to that PSR level. It's just it's like the lack of even some of the teams down the bottom. You think, well, you want to survive, would you spend something? It's almost like, nah, we're okay. But look, I want to thank everyone who has tuned in. I'm not even going to stay on to the deadline because there's literally no point. So I want to thank you all. We're back tomorrow with straight facts and a few other bits and pieces. I want to thank everyone who's tuned in. Please go and check out Stocks FC. It's an amazing game to play. And if you sign up tonight, one of you is going to be picked in a draw tomorrow to win a pair of 2 tickets to to watch any Premier League team of your choice. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.